Testing, testing. Here we go. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very extra long awaited video from my channel. It's been a while. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the 2026 Noies, aka the 2025 Personal Awards. I want to personally thank each and every one of you guys for waiting. I know this took a while. Life's been kind of crazy the past few weeks. Life's been crazy, just so busy. But the people have spoken. They said, Noah, release the files. We will not be redacting this information. Maybe, maybe not. So here they are. A few things to note before we get started. A, unlike last year where everyone was a nominee for every award, this time there were actual nominees that I selected myself. So sorry, not sorry if you didn't make a category that you think you deserve to be nominated for. It is what it is. It is what it is. In addition, what's the other thing? Oh yeah, unlike last year, we actually have brand new awards. These are all brand new. The only similarity is the Friend of the Year award. And I guess technically you can also say the President Award, which is a little bit different this year. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, guys. Our first award we have here is Minority of the Year. Now, what does this mean? The friend group is basically consists of either white people or, of some rare occasions, some minorities. And when you're a minority, we look up to you. You're special. You're different. So let's look at some of the nominees and kind of like break it down, right? We got Martin, a Mexican American. I forgot the other thing he is. I think like a Venezuelan or something. We got Ethan, African American. Very black man. We got Chris and Kieran, who are both Filipino, evil creatures, and Braden, who you might be saying, Noah, Braden's white. I beg to differ. Braden's a creature. So the winner, voted by the people, Minority of the Year, is Kieran with 6 votes. Second leading person, by the way, was Braden. Very fair. I know some people were really wishing Braden would win this award, but no. Kieran wins Minority of the Year, and this is very valid because, Kieran's making, $100 million. He got a very fancy job after applying to a million different places. So I think Kieran winning this really just, it speaks levels to the type of Asian he is. Congratulations, Kieran. Best Clash Player Award. If you were following up with this year, you would realize, or last year technically, Clash Royale was one of the most important and impactful games that people were playing on their phones. I mean, people who went to Tennessee literally would still be playing, just sitting down, not even enjoying nature, just playing Clash, myself included. So the nominees are, in my opinion, the 5 best players, right? Myself, Tyler and Ethan, who have like the most trophies in the clan, Brian, pay to win, and Martin for a diversity hire, because it's not Martin that won, guys. The winner is Ethan. With 57.1% of the votes, 8 votes total, Tyler was behind, and this makes sense that these two are the most voted people because they have the most trophies. Ethan's a very raw player. He uses the perfect amount of cheese and also skill, hence why he had to win Best Clash Player. Congratulations, Ethan. This is a big Noe to win. Most impactful. First die in a horror movie. This one's a little different. It's a little unique. I thought of it on the spot while making these awards. This is kind of like, if we were put in a situation, kind of like, what made me think about this was when we were in Tennessee. Now, think about the Wendigo. If we got attacked or by like a crazy person, who would die first, right? The nominees are Ethan, because he's black, and the black person always dies first in the movies. Tony, Josh, Noah, and Brian, all similar, kind of sped, could do something kind of dumb to get themselves in trouble. So who would be the first to die? And you guys voted, for Josh. Josh with 57% of the votes. I think that's 8, I believe. This makes a lot of sense, Tony had the second most votes, which also makes a lot of sense. But Josh Josh is the type of guy to go up to a monster or a serial killer and be like, "You got the Wi-Fi password? Do you know the directions to like? Did you see what Brian did on Fortnite? Like, Brian's so annoying. Am I right?" And then get like gutted like horribly. Josh is a monster, guys, and Josh would get killed by the monster first. Congratulations, Josh. First to die in a horror movie. That's a big win. That's a big win. Most likely to visit the island. Well, what does this mean, right? Well, I think it's a little self-explanatory what it means. But the nominees for most likely to visit the island, myself for reasons, Brian because Brian would be the type of guy to be like, oh, well, everyone else is going, I have to go. Josh for basically the same reason, plus he's Jewish. Tony because Tony's stupid, and Nick just because Nick's conservative, like really conservative, and all the conservatives went to this place. So the winner for most likely to visit the island, voted by you people, I gave it to myself. So me and Brian were tied with 4 apiece. I'm deciding to spare Brian the embarrassment, and I'm saying me. I would go to the island for the jet skis. For the jet skis. Now that I'm reading this, guys, I probably should have nominated Tyler if we're keeping it a buck. Tyler, you know what you are. What is this? What is the? Yeah, you get it. Tyler should have been here. Most likely to switch up. Very self-explanatory. When you get the money, the fame, new friends, or a girlfriend possibly, you tend to kind of just switch up on your day ones. Think, why do I need these guys anymore? I know I did it. That's why I'm a nominee, right? Working at a job, having a girlfriend. Be like, damn, do I even know these people? The other nominees, Kieran, the original, the OG of switching up. I mean, bro went to UF, joined BTS, was like, I don't even know these schmucks. Kieran, bad person. Chris, apparently hanging out with a new kind of gang. I think like his work friends or whatever. Doesn't really talk to people. Been acting green apparently, and I know green because I'm green. I know green. Nick because Nick, if he becomes a doctor or whatever after school, I could see him being like, rich and powerful and being like, I don't fuck with you guys anymore. That's why Nick's nominated. And Martin just because same thing. Could join the military, get married to Izzy. Be like, I don't even know these slimes. I don't even know them. So who got the most votes for most likely to switch up? I'll tell you right now. It was Chris with 6 votes. Me and Kieran were tied. I think that's like 2 apiece. Yeah, something like that. Which is very valid. But yeah, Chris. I mean, Chris. I've heard some things. Some stories. Let me just say one thing. Chris, if you're listening, you will always be a monster. And yeah, I mean, Chris wins mostly to switch up. Chris, this is your sign. This is your sign. Just do it. Pull the trigger. 100%. Just drop out. Because I mean, people voted for you on this. Very valid. Congratulations, Chris. Best Tennessee member. Now, for those who don't know, the friend group went on a Tennessee trip back in August, my birthday, or around my birthday, right? Everyone on this list are the people. I just realized I put Tone instead of Tony. It's what it is. These are the people who were at the Tennessee trip. Who was the best? Who was the most impactful, the funnest, the kind of like the coolest? Someone who was just like they were like you left the trip and you were like, man, that person was really great during the trip, really great. So out of all these people, everyone who went, you guys voted, we voted. Ethan with 4 votes. It's very diverse. You see the pie chart right here, right? Ethan has some votes. Tyler was the second most voted, I think, with 3. And everyone else got like a few here and there. Shout out the 1 vote to me. I appreciate that. But Ethan wins. This makes a lot of sense because Ethan did a lot of cooking. He did a lot of smoking. Which, by the way, is like funny because like he almost like sold and gave Tyler a heart attack, but this is valid. I like this vote. I'm very happy that Ethan won this. Shout out Ethan. Big win, big win. Now, on the contrary, worst Tennessee member is kind of everything we just talked about, but the opposite. Who left this trip and was like, damn, that person almost sold this trip. You know, who was the worst? We're like, fuck, bro. Let's just throw this guy out. Let the Wendigos eat him, right? So out of everyone that was there, all 9 people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, all 9 of us. The people voted for. This one was a little more close with people. Tony, with 4 votes. Nick had, I believe, 3, and so did I. Why the fuck was I voted 3 times for worst Tennessee member? I will kill you, whoever did that. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Tony, this makes sense. I voted for Tony because Tony was the one that drove off into the mountain with no service and left me to die with Brian and Chris and Ethan in my car. So Tony, you're a monster. What else did Tony do that was like annoying? Your water bottles, just you know, Tony, you weren't the worst. You weren't evil. But you know, someone had to win this award. So Tony, congratulations. Worst Tennessee member. Most likely to join ICE. This is a little maybe too soon. But you know, history is history and the news is the news. Basically, people on this list right here scream off that they would be interested in applying for ICE to detain American citizens, or maybe not American citizens, whatever you feel like, really, because you have the power, and send them away to Guantanamo Bay, whatever. The nominees: Chris is racist, basically. Tyler, raging conservative. Spencer, just because it's funny. Dylan, just because it's funny. And Brian, because, well, how do we say this about Brian? I'm just going to say it. Brian, you won by a landslide. 50% of the votes. 7 votes for Brian. Tyler, I think, had like 3 or 2. Brian's made comments about ICE that you're like, yeah, that's something an ICE agent would say. And it's funny because I'm going to out Brian right now. He was on Xbox being like, no, I mean, I'm not going to win, most likely to join ICE, right? Let me put my hand on my shoulder when I tell you this. You are the winner. Brian, congratulations. I hope you do some serious reflecting. Best pickleball player. Like this picture says, I don't like pickleball. I hate pickleball. I don't care who wins this. I just did this for you guys, really. The nominees are, in my opinion, the 4 best pickleball players. Nicholas, for his and one ability. Tyler, because he's like that. Not really. Spencer, because he's a tennis prodigy. And Brian, because Brian's like really good. You know, always has the 110% hustle, right? So who did the people vote for best pickleball player? Well, I'll tell you. It was Spencer by a large margin. 7 votes, half the votes. This makes sense, you know. You know, Spencer, he figured it out. He should be ashamed of himself because pickleball is ass. But it's what it is, you know. It's like tennis. Like, Spencer just exceeds in white people sports. Cracker sports, if you will. And with this win, he can add this to his collection of trophies. Spencer, congratulations for winning best pickleball player. Most likely to scare off the Huzz. Now, in the friend group, there are a few people that, you know, if you bring them around the women, at the clubs, the parties, whatever it may be, he might be like, oh, this guy is a freak, he's a freak, and he's going to scare off all the women that he's going to talk to because he's, like, not normal in the head. The nominees are Spencer, just because I don't think Spencer's talking to the women like that every day. Tony, for begging on his hands and knees to, what's her name, that one girl at Robert's party. Josh, because he's New York and Jewish and short. Oh my god. Brian, just because I feel like Brian gives off ICE vibes. That's not good. And Nick, because Nick's the type of guy to be drunk asking other men, is his friend Brian hot? That's why Nick's on here. Or he'd be like, "Do you think my friend's cute? Do you think my friend Brian's cute?" To all the women. Oh, Nick's great. But you guys voted, and the winner for most likely to scare off the Huzz was Tony with 7 votes. Brian had like 2 or 3. Sorry, Brian. Tony, you know what you did. You know what you are. The beard doesn't help you. The haircut doesn't help you. The dressing in pajamas and like a cat. Like I want to choose my words carefully so I don't get demonetized. Your special ed shirts you wear. You're done, buddy. You're done. But Tony, this is a big award for you. I mean, congratulations. Seriously, big award. Best crib award. You know, in the friend group, we have a lot of functions. We have a lot of pre games. We like to go to people's houses to hang out. And this is from like high school time to today. You know, who who has the best crib? So let's go down the list. Tyler's hosted a small number of times, but he did host that UFC watch party where where Elia slimed out my goat Charles Oliveira. Shout out Tyler. Shout out Charles Oliveira. Do Bronx. Tyler's house is really nice, by the way. Really nice house. He lives like where the crackers live, and the Republicans. Myself for hosting a few things here and there. Not too many things, but enough. Enough. You can smoke in my house. My mom allows you to smoke in the house. That's a W, right? Chris has held a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff. He's top 2 on this list for sure for hosting stuff. Very nice house. Very nice parents. Always accommodating. Very nice. Nice pool in the back. W place for Chris. Nick's old house. We don't know anything about Nick's like new houses, mom/dad, but his old home. That's the OG. That's the OG. That's the greatest, the GOAT, if you will, in my opinion. And then I threw Brian in here just because of the one function I remember going to. I've actually been to Brian's house a few times, but for function-wise, only one. And it was pretty fun. It was in his backyard. So the winner for best crib goes to Nick's old house. Nick, congratulations. You've officially won your first Noe. Take a screenshot, take a screen recording, post it on social media. 50% of the votes. Nick's old house was legendary. It's one of the greatest of all time. And we should all remember it. And I miss it to this day. I know Nick does. R.I.P. Nick's old home. Hashtag we need to slime out the people who live there and take it back. Congratulations, Nick. Most likely to be fired. Now, in the big 2026 that we're in now, a lot of people have jobs. A lot of people got jobs last year. But who will keep their job and who will not? And I don't mean quitting their job. I mean who's most likely to be fired from their job. The nominees I put were myself because I told some people I feel like sometimes I fuck up a little too much in my job. Brian because Brian probably will hit someone with his truck. Ethan, I don't know what Ethan's gonna do in 2026, but I feel like if he gets it, he might be on thin ice. Be on thin ice, buddy. Martin, because Home Depot is gonna fire him if he keeps on calling out. And Josh, because Josh has been fired before, so he has a track record, and he's Jewish. The winner for most likely to be fired is Brian with 7 votes. Do I think this is fair to Brian? Not really. Is it funny? Yeah. Brian, just don't get fired. Don't prove them right. Don't hit anyone with a truck or do anything else insane at your future jobs. Congratulations, Brian. This is a big win for you. Most likely to be a father. Well, step 1 of this award is you have to be performing to even be on this list, right? Step 2, you have to perform with no Batman protection sometimes. And that's what this is all about. So let's break it down, right? Myself, hopefully my girlfriend doesn't see this. I'm not gonna elaborate anymore. Tyler, we know what type of man you are. Nick, I know what type of man you are. Brian, Brian's dating his ex again. And Tony, because I know what you did New Year's Day, you sick bastard. Anyway, most likely to be a father. Now, the votes were pretty funny. By the way, I did not nominate our friend Martin because a lot of you guys were in my ear being like, Noah, why didn't you nominate Martin? Martin does it. No proof, by the way. Allegations. Martin does it every day. Martin's a smart man, and he uses Batman protection. Izzy, sorry you have to hear this. Or does Izzy use Batman protection? What if Izzy was Batman, guys? Can we take a second to think if Martin was dating Batman? I'm thinking about that right now. Anyway, most likely to be a father. The people voted. The winner is Nick. Nick, 2 in a row. I mean, not 2 in a row, actually, but 2 Noies. I think this is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, Nick, let's just say it out loud for your girlfriend to hear. Nick, you gotta put it on. Put the rubber on. Nick told me personally, he's like, Noah, I don't, I'm allergic to latex. Latex burns me. I'm a vampire. Nick's gonna be a father this year, guys. That's my prediction. Put the money on it. Put the money line on it. Let's move on. Congratulations, Nick. 2 Noies in 1 year. Cracker of the Year. Very special award, you know. This is, like unlike Minority of the Year, it's the opposite. Cracker of the Year is for the whitest of the white, right? Tyler, Nick, Brian, Spencer, myself. Legendary white people in the friend group, right? But there can only be one winner. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Cracker of the Year. For the first time, we're giving it to 2 people. Spencer and Tyler, congratulations. 4 votes each. And I really couldn't decide who deserved to win Cracker of the Year, right? So I was like, you know what? Let's split the trophy down the middle and give it to both of them. Tyler for being so sexy. Spencer for being so white. I hate that I have a cough. Let me sit up. Oh. So, congratulations to Spencer and Tyler. Big win. Chud of the Year, however, this is a very serious award. We have to lock in here. We have to lock in for Chud of the Year. Chud of the Year means I don't want to say loser of the year, but if you look up what chud means, it's kind of like loser. So it's kind of a mean award, but it's valid. I'm gonna say right now, word of my mother, I voted for myself. I am a chud, right? I know chuds. That's why I nominated myself. Tony, you are a fucking chud. Spencer, you are a chud. Martin, you're kind of a chud. Brian and Martin, you were voted for because someone had to be, and it's kind of funny, right? So who'd you guys vote for? Did you vote for the actual chuds, like the top 3, or did you vote for someone else? You voted for someone else because, Brian, you won Chud of the Year. I'm sorry. Brian and I were battling for number 1. Like I said, I voted for myself, Brian. That was not me. But 5 of y'all voted. So flaw. Brian, congratulations. You have won Billions Must Die Chud of the Year. Congratulations. Perform of the Year. Okay. A lot of you guys did not know what this meant, which is valid. It literally just says perform. Perform of the Year means who did the best sexually. But, at the same time, I also like the idea that perform could mean anything, and it's up for the interpretation of the viewer and for the voter. That being said, these five people are the best performers. In which way am I talking about? You decide. And you guys did decide. Because the winner of Perform of the Year was Giovanni with 5 votes. Now, Giovanni is a musician, so if we're thinking about this logically, he does be performing, and he does perform good. And if Giovanni voted, I don't know what Giovanni voted for, if he voted for himself. If he did, he was probably like, yeah, he must mean like. Giovanni was probably confused as fuck. Sorry, Giovanni. Um, this is an honor though. Dead ass. For being serious, Giovanni, you should be very proud for winning this award. Shout out Giovanni. Big win. Big Noe award. Best cook. I feel like in the friend group, a few people have actually like made food for us, where it's like, oh damn, this guy cooks. Like we're happy that this person cooks. Now a few people were like, why was I snubbed? Why wasn't I voted? Because I haven't had your food. Duh. These 4 people I've had some type of food from, right? Ethan cooks kind of the most on this list for the friend group. Always making burgers and stuff. W Ethan. Chris, because I know Chris has made us stuff at his house. Um, Plus, he's also a wizard of concoctions of like drinks. Doesn't count as cooking, but you get the point. Spencer's eggs and his pancakes, which are, breakfast food. Breakfast is lit. I love breakfast food. And then Brian. Brian used to work at Carrabba's. Brian's made some food here and there. Shout out Brian. Brian's a professional cook. Literally, it was his job. But who did the people vote for out of these 4? The winner for best cook is Ethan with 6 votes. Brian had the second most. Brian might take this as disrespectful since he was literally a cook. But Ethan wins best cook. 6 votes. Listen, like I said at the very beginning, Ethan's kind of done the most cooking for us. So that's kind of like what's swaying people's like opinion. And that's valid. That's valid. Ethan won a lot of awards, I feel like. Ethan, congratulations. This is a monumental day for you. Let's go. Best dressed. Very simply put, when we go out, who's looking the flyest, who's feeling themselves, who's looking like for show really good, for show nice, who's looking clean. I nominated Martin for being so sexy and cute. I voted for myself, which I have to give credit Martin for, and other people for getting my style from them. I voted Chris. Chris always looks nice when he goes out. I voted Tyler because he also always looks really nice. And I voted for Brian because Brian, wearing a collared shirt, nice jeans, wearing a $9,000 watch. By 9,000 I mean $1 watch. So who won Best Dressed? Like Kyle Kuzma over here. The winner was Martin with 5 votes. I was in contention, so was Chris. Very valid. But Martin squeaked it out right with the 5 votes. Which makes sense, Martin, he said this himself, so I'm allowed to say it. Izzy, we have to give credit for. He said a lot of his style comes from his girlfriend, comes from Izzy. Izzy, you did a good job. You got your boyfriend to win a Noe for Best Dressed, which is this is a good award, and you're lucky because there's not many of the good ones, positive ones. There's a lot of negative ones. Congratulations, Martin. Best Dancer. Continuing the trend of positive awards, Best Dancer is for who's. Oh wait. Okay, so Tyler wins Best Dancer. I'm the best YouTuber on YouTube, by the way. Okay, I nominated myself, Chris, Tyler, Nick, and Braden because everyone here on this list are fly dancers, right? That being said, I guess I forgot a slide. Tyler won. Tyler won with 8 votes. Only I was second, and I only had like 3. I mean, if we're gonna keep it a buck, me and Tyler are we are the best dancing duo of all time. But Tyler, I mean, he's just so sexy. Of course he has to win this. I voted for Tyler. I didn't vote for myself. I should have, but I didn't. Congratulations, Tyler. Big cough. Biggest Liberal is an award for the bluest voter. Just like my boyfriend here, right? Madani. Momdani. Biggest Liberal nominees were Kieran for being Asian, myself for being liberal, Ethan for being black, Josh because he's Jewish and he lives in New York, and Martin because he's a minority. That's my credentials for everyone's nomination. But listen, there's no secret of who won this. The winner was me. With 6 votes, Kieran was in second place, even though Kieran's literally a evil human being. Listen, I mean, what can I say except you're welcome? Look at me, I'm literally blue. My color's literally blue. I'm literally the bluest guy, you know. I take this as an absolute compliment, even though some of you guys would be like, no, you're a fucking loser. W Noe for me. On the opposite side, we have biggest conservative, which most of you guys are, but only 5 could be nominated, right? And I picked the. Okay, so Spencer shouldn't be here if we're keeping it honest. Should be like Dylan or something. But Spencer, you get nominated because it's funny. Nick, you're nominated because you're an evil person. Tyler, same reason. Brian, even bigger reason. And Chris, yeah. Chris and Tyler own guns. So conservative. Spencer is white. That's why he's here. Brian's white, and Nick's really white. Who did you guys vote for biggest conservative though? Well, that would be other than Brian with 7 votes. Listen, Brian, most likely to win ice, biggest conservative. Take this however you want. I think you'll take this award very happily though, Brian. Tyler was in second place with votes, which makes sense. But Brian, I mean, this will be you one day, being shot at. Big win for Brian. Congratulations, Brian, biggest conservative. Most likely to use the poll ASAP. What does this mean? Because some people, like Spencer Lilly, didn't know what this meant. If you were to own a firearm, or if you do own a firearm, Chris and Tyler, who would, at the slightest inconvenience of their life, pull that thing out to use it? Would it be Tyler? Chris? Ethan, which I spelled wrong. Best YouTuber, by the way. Spencer, because Spencer would be funny if he had a gun, just use it instantly. And Brian, short temper, just fire at someone. Got you looking like Speed here. The winner for most likely to use their poll, yeah, it was Chris, easily. I mean, come on now. This was basically just a Chris award. I thought of Chris when I made this award. There's not much more to say. Chris is always being like, do I get my gun? Do I gotta get the poll? Do I gotta use the poll? I mean, shout out Chris. Shout out Chris for his firearm. Shout out his firearm. Congratulations, Chris, for winning most likely to use the poll ASAP. Best glow up. Simply put, you know, not that you look bad, but like, you looked one way, and then something happened, and it has elevated your game to look even better. Nick, because you're black now. Tony, because you're buffer now. Me, because I lost weight. Chris, because he's sexy. And Ethan, for all the reasons and more that I just said. So who did the people vote for best glow up? Well, the people voted for Ethan, astonishingly, with 7 votes. It was a clean sweep for Ethan. I voted for Ethan. I agree. Actually, did I? Who knows if I did. I mean, look at Ethan, man. He's tall, he's sexy, he's handsome, he's rich. Well, one of those things isn't like the other. Shout out Ethan. I mean, he's on a roll. He's won a lot of awards today. Ethan's having a generational Noies right now. Shout out Ethan, and congratulations to him. Coach of the Year. Now this This can mean a bunch of things, right? Coach of the Year means something you did in your life or this last year was coach like. For example, I'm nominated for my actual coaching during flag football. Chris is nominated for Coach of the Year because of his monumental work at the gym, coaching us of what to do, making us better and fitter. Tyler was nominated for Coach of the Year because of his having to teach people how to play Age and other games. Nick for similar reasons of games and life, and Ethan because Ethan's a Clash player. He had to coach people in Clash, of course. So all very strong candidates, but only one winner. And the winner for Coach of the Year is Tyler with 5 votes. Shout out, Tyler. This Noe goes out to you. And this makes a lot of sense, you know. Tyler did have to deal with people like Tony in his ear, selling him on Age. Hashtag kill Tony with rocks. And he also had to, he coached Kieran when Kieran first started playing Age, and Kieran's now an S tier Age player. And that's all from Tyler, really, for being honest. So, Tyler, congratulations of winning Coach of the Year. Finally, we have Friend of the Year. Just like last year, Friend of the Year is very simple, very self-explanatory. Who was the most impactful, funniest, most interesting, best friend who was always there for you? Just overall a good person and a good friend, right? We have Braden for no reason at all. We have Tyler for how great Tyler is and how serious he is and how he can get, even though he's a little evil. Ethan, because he's the best. He all the Noies he's won, he has to be on here for Friend of the Year. Martin, same reason. Good life advice, good coaching, good finishing ability. Shout out Izzy. Tony, because he won last year, he was the reigning defending Friend of the Year. Has to get nominated twice in a row. And Brian for his amazing boat skills. That's why Brian's here. Boat skills and cooking skills. And the and one skills. Do 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 do. So who won Friend of the Year? Who did you guys vote for? I'll tell you right now. The winner of Friend of the Year is Tyler with 7 votes. Braden was second place, by the way. Half of you guys haven't even met the guy. Tyler gives good life advice. He's funny. He's good at almost everything he does. He's married. He's big. He sends me really, really good reels. That's why I vote for him. Love the reels that we send each other. Hashtag never open my phone. Hashtag no one open Tyler's phone. My reels I send him. So, Tyler, this is maybe the biggest achievement of your entire life. Those and the MVPs you won in the SCBA. This Noe and the MVPs you won, this is what life's all about. It's about winning this award right here. So congratulations, Tyler, for winning Friend of the Year 2025. Let's go. Next, President. If you could tell, I didn't even put the nominees because I was getting tired of making this goddamn slideshow, and I was like, I'm just going to start writing bullshit, right? Next President, well, that's also the other thing. The nominees were everyone. Every single person had a chance to be voted for better or for worse, you'll see. And the people were able to select, because we live in a democracy, who should be the president of the friend group. Now, a very brief history. I made a slide for most likely to be president last time we made this video, and I won, or I was tied with Kieran and I gave myself the win, which is borderline illegal. I then claimed that wasn't most likely to be president that was for the president, and I became the president of the friend group. And for 3 months, I ruled very well. However, the people in the friend group are horrible human beings and would never listen to a single thing I ever said or wanted to do. Hence why I left. And my vice president, Brian Campbell, took over for the rest of 2025 being the president. How did Brian's presidency go? Well, according to his polls, not very well. And according to these polls, not very well, because Brian did not win. Spoiler alert. No. The people voted, and the people voted for the next president to be Braden with 3 votes. So, like I said, most of you have never met Braden before in your life. But he's won. Democracy, 3 votes. I mean, one more than the next person up, which was Ethan. So what does this mean? This means that Braden needs to be contacted to, because he has to rule a whole friend group. Psych! There was immediate recount. Because Braden lives in, I think, Jacksonville, which is like the worst part of all of Florida. Braden is an illegal alien. We found his papers, we found his documents, and it said he's not from the U.S., meaning he's not from the friend group, meaning he can't be the president of the friend group. He was just a diversity pick while he was on the list. Sorry, Braden. Hashtag kill Braden. Do you know what that means, gentlemen? Dun 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 dun. I don't know why I'm singing Rocky. Ethan's the president. Ethan Whitaker is the new president of the friend group since he had 2 and no one else had 2 fucking votes. This is monumental. Our first black president. I'm dying. Our first black president, ladies and gentlemen. Ethan I voted for Ethan, right? So I'm one of his 2 votes. Because he's such a leader in Clash. Like, he knows how to calm a storm. And he kind of reminds me of LeBron James. If LeBron was driving the boat, the ice, Jesus Christ. If LeBron was driving the Titanic, it would have never hit the iceberg. Same thing, if Ethan was driving that boat, they would not have hit the iceberg. Ethan could lead us through anything. Think about all the awards he's won today. It just makes the most sense. Best Clash player, best cook, best glow up. These are the traits that you need in a president. Congratulations, Ethan. You are now officially the new president. Your term will last from this very second to the last day of December, where you can choose if you want to run again or not. You should probably pick a VP. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. Once again, I'm sorry for the delay. Just been busy. Finally, we got this out. Finally, it's done. And as Playboy Cardi once said at the end of Hood by Air, a song, now I can finally sleep.